Well, I was trying to think of a funny intro, but you guys started to get, like, really fucking bored and eat a concerning amount of Jaffa cakes, so I thought I'd save you and just use this instead.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It looked pretty brutal, I'm not gonna lie.
About 5 of them died.
I don't even like Jaffa cakes.
We are currently recording 116 miles away from our usual, I was gonna say studio, but that would be a lie to the word studio. And either way, we are currently abroad, that's right, we've gone international for this one.
I'm not sure if Wales counts as international.
I at no point was going to say that we were in Wales because I wanted it to sound a lot more glamorous than the reality of what's actually going on.
We're in a caravan.
It's a better caravan than the one in Torquay, that's for certain.
It is actually. I do believe that we've had an upgrade. This caravan's fucking huge.
Anyway, I'm Barely Breathing Reviews, and this is the 11th episode of the Barely Banter Podcast.
Oh, well done us.
The bulk of my contribution towards this podcast is talking about Infinity Wars. I've finally seen it, so I'm probably going to hog the microphone for a while. So has anyone got anything they'd like to say before I go into that?
I do a lot. I do. And I'm excited because I know you guys are going to be excited. If you don't know.
Oh, sorry, this is Claire, by the way. Haven't done the introduction.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do it. This is the intro still. It's a long one.
And, of course, Scott's here as well, as always.
What?
Hi.
I'm drinking hot squash in between cans of hooch.
I'm on the Fosters.
That's a really sad sentence, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm drinking Golden Hoppy Ale from Conwy. It's local stuff.
Oh, delicious.
It's alright. I mean, it was a corner shop.
I mean, to be fair, that corner shop did as well.
We did.
It fed us tonight and provided the many, many snacks that you will hear across the duration of this podcast.
You have stuff.
Yes, I have stuff, sorry, yeah. Adult Swim has picked up another 70 episodes of Rick and Morty.
70?
70.
70. Yes.
I heard there were more episodes, but I didn't know it was that many.
70.
That's good.
I thought you'd be pleased.
I'm very pleased with that.
How
Thank you very much.
How many seasons is that?
That is literally the only thing I know about it. That sentence is my entire knowledge.
Well, there's normally been about, 10? I think it's been about per season.
You're our resident Rick and Morty expert.
I wouldn't say expert on this.
You know, that basically means you know more than me and Claire
No,
do.
it's just a guess. I don't know off the top of my head. I think there's about 10 episodes in each, isn't so that may be another 7 seasons. So it depends how much they want to break it up.
Well, like split it into part 1, part 2s and stuff.
That's all you know, no announced dates, no premieres.
Nothing, I know nothing else.
It's good news though. It's awesome news.
Great news, isn't it? It's really good.
I just hope they don't overkill it.
Yeah, that's my concern. Like, you know how Friends got a bit shit. I feel like that happens, doesn't it? Like, you get just a bit crap. And then they bring fresh writers in and it...
I actually had this bit of news for last, but did you... Oh, you must have found out, Scott, but you know that Brooklyn Nine-Nine's been cancelled? Mm-hmm. Completely axed by Fox.
Yeah, I found out today in the car.
For no real reason.
I was going to talk about it.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not too worried.
Hulu's picked it up pretty much already.
Oh, Netflix?
Netflix had it originally.
Oh, yes, sorry.
It's gone back to Netflix.
It's gone back to Netflix?
No, Hulu's got it now. Because Fox own it.
Oh, yeah, it is Hulu. Yeah. It was Netflix that had it before.
Yes, sorry, yes. Because they started taking over. So they axed it and now they've come back to Hulu.
Who the fuck is Hulu, by the way? Because I don't know these people.
It's like Netflix. It's like another version of it. It's
Is
like
it
another
like they're now
version.
TV?
It's a mixture of different things again. So it's one of those that's trying to
Is
pick
it
up all the pop.
package?
Yeah, so it's like trying to pick up again. It's like a Netflix. It's trying to pick up all the popular stuff, put it all together, and then
It's
try
a
and
platform.
hopefully,
It's a platform.
It's like the Amazon, Netflix. It's like manga ones. It's like the animes. Like
I'm with you.
It was literally no... It was doing well critically. It was getting the views in. And then it was axed. Fans kicked off massively. And now Hulu's picked it up. It wasn't even deteriorating. It was still doing really well. The season that I've just seen, I'm still one season behind. Season 4 we've just finished. It was really good. The humour evolved for itself. There was character development, etc, etc. Dabby was guest starring it for one episode.
Way.
From Disjointed.
From Disjointed. That's exciting.
Which has also been cancelled completely.
Yeah, we knew about
That's
that.
old news, but still sucks nonetheless.
Yeah, it still hurts me. Kathy Bates had gone straight back to American Horror Story.
I thought she would.
Yeah.
Crawling, I imagine.
My mate was like, back where she belongs. I was like, no.
It was an enjoyable detour.
It was. I enjoyed it. Immensely.
I got some quick little news. Rocket League. Do you know the cross-platform? You can do cross-platform parties.
Oh, really?
PC, PlayStation, you can actually join up.
That is actually amazing news.
Yeah.
I don't know what this means.
Do you know that Android and your Mac and
Yeah.
Windows, basically they have a little bit of problems like talking to each other.
Yeah.
Imagine they just said now you just go through this website and you could just do the exact same thing and it's seamless and you have no problems. So it allows them to connect, which before they just can't. But now it allows that connection, just to allow that you can actually join together and actually just do it.
See, beforehand you could play with or against people on different platforms, okay, but that was just by random happenstance. But now you can actually arrange to play. For example, we play with a guy who's got a PlayStation 4 but doesn't play it on PC, and we have it on PlayStation 4 and PC. We could join together in the same party on PS4, but if me and Scott were to go on our PC to play Rocket League, we couldn't in any way join him in a group. But now that barrier's gone down and we can. So it's pretty cool.
And to the same capacity and etc. without it being glitchy as fuck.
They'll probably will end up always being a few glitches, but
It'll just get
they have
patched.
it's one of those things it's like medicine and stuff like that. They have to find out the bugs, and the only way they can do it is by getting it more, by playing it. And people do moan, but that's it. They want them to moan because they moan about what's wrong, and then they want moaning normally in more detail more than it's shit.
Yeah.
You want, okay, it's shit. Why? It crashes because it goes. It crashes every time I do this. It'd be like, okay, now we know what to look for.
Yeah, and that's more helpful.
Mm.
People are dicks when they complain sometimes, aren't they?
Yes.
I can't broadcast the stuff that you've said to fucking GMs, man. And we say some pretty dark shit on this show.
But yeah, so I'm guessing the same for like Xbox as well. So Xbox to PlayStation.
That's some good gaming news from the film and television based podcast.
Oh, I haven't done a Mackey's review in fucking probably about 11 episodes.
Well, we had one today.
And you got a toy.
I did get a toy. What the fuck was it? It was a megaphone, and it came with stickers, which I enjoyed immensely.
It was a Justice League megaphone that didn't work.
No, it did. We just had to shout louder at it, but we didn't really want to shout that loud inside McDonald's.
Because we're polite people. Yeah, anyway, it was Justice League one. In conjunction with the Justice League film.
That was out last year. Maybe it was just left over.
Was it Justice League?
Yeah. It was 100% the Justice League.
Oh, that was me thinking it was the Avengers, and that would lead into a nice little segue for you. Well, never mind.
Thanks.
It could still be.
That is my segue.
Speaking of Avengers.
No, that's fine as it
That'll
is.
do.
Yeah. Oh, smooth. I have apps on my phone that give me movie news, and this is coming in like during pre-production, where my phone was being completely overwhelmed with news about Infinity Wars, which I didn't care about because it wasn't anything major, just these cheeky little references like this guy may have spoiled the plot years ago, or Mark Ruffalo said this that's now happening in the movie, so he accidentally spoiled. Anyway, so I thought I'd just say what I need to say about the movie, which I've finally seen.
I haven't seen this film.
This was going to be like one of the very few films that all three of us had seen, and we could actually speak about it. But on the way up here, Claire said that, oh no, I didn't see it because I haven't seen any of the others.
Yeah, so I felt like there was no point. Because I hadn't seen any of the others. Like, I haven't seen the last two Thor films. He's cut his hair. When did that happen? I haven't seen the last two of those. I haven't seen Black Panther. I haven't seen the Avengers. I hadn't seen the Avengers film before this one.
The first one was out in 2012.
I don't think I've seen the first one. I don't particularly like Captain America. Not that I've seen any of his films either, but he just looks like a bit of a penis. And I got told by someone who had seen it that you kind of need to see the other films to appreciate it, because otherwise you're a bit like, well, I don't really know what's going on, which happens often for me. So I thought, well, fuck it, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to see it, so feel free to spoil for me. That's a warning for our listeners,
there will
then.
be spoilers throughout. I took these notes down whilst being knocked around in the car, so it's going to be very hard for me to read them.
Well, driving was excellent, thank you.
But no, it's interesting that you didn't see it because you hadn't seen any previous Avenger film, and I will get to that towards the end of this giant ass paragraph that I'm going to have to kind of like
navigate,
build upon. Yeah. Anyway, right off the bat, the action was relentless, but it didn't oversaturate the movie, considering it is actually 2.5 hours, which is a long time to sit in a cinema, but it did go quite quickly.
Yeah, if it's all action, that pisses me off.
My derriere was not numb at any point during the movie. When that starts to happen, that means it's dragging, but I was so encapsulated that it didn't even occur.
No, it's very... Everything was constantly happening. It wasn't actually boring or slow at any point.
No. The structure reminded me of The Lord of the Rings. You know, you had Sam and Frodo go off to Mordor with the One Ring and Gollum eventually. Then you'd cut to Legolas, Gimli and Aragorn doing, their thing in Edoras. After that, then you'd cut to Merry and Pippin, hanging out with the Uruk-hai, then chilling with Treebeard and stuff like that.
Yeah, the different storylines.
Yeah, and it all...
They kept it fresh.
Yeah, and it all came together at the end. In Infinity Wars, it's very similar. All the characters are divided up and they go on separate adventures, and the events that occur in each storyline affects what happens to the other groups. It's all linear narrative.
Yeah, but it's threaded and weaved between their storylines to come to one big tapestry in the end.
Yeah. I enjoyed the mixture of characters in each team. Apart from the Thor, Groot and Rocket combination, I really wasn't feeling it. It just felt really awkward. I'm not a huge fan of the teenager Groot at the minute, but
he's acting out, is he?
Yeah, very much so. He's playing a video game constantly.
I actually did like them.
Oh, did you?
I didn't like Star-Lord in it though. I didn't like his...
Chris Pratt.
I love him as well. That's the thing. I really like his character, and I loved him in Guardians of the Galaxy. The way he had to play his character, I didn't like it. It just didn't suit him. It just the character he had to play. I don't want us to give too much away.
Well, we've already given a spoiler alert, so you can say what you like. I'm not going to see it.
It gets basically Gamora basically gets all flirty with Thor, and because he's going out with Gamora, he's a bit like, oh, hang on, trying to like squeeze in because he's feeling a bit like that. So he keeps trying to then he tries to go deep in his voice. It's like, did you just deepen? He was like, no, I always talk like this. So you're trying to do little things like that, but it wasn't really him.
He was being the jealous boyfriend type. Yeah,
but it was not just that. It was like It didn't have that jokey, that comical side to him as much as it used to. It was like they dulled him down a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of strong characters amongst that group.
Yeah, he did have to share scenes with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth, and they did bounce off each other, but they were very undermining towards Chris Pratt's character.
Yeah.
Star-Lord.
You can't have too many alphas in a group like that because it just doesn't work. So they had to downplay one of them, and it just happened to be him because he was probably the easiest to downplay with the storyline with Gamora. Yeah,
the one's got a lot more stronger character lines as well.
They're more integral to the core of the story.
I enjoyed Peter Dinklage's role.
Yeah, I heard he was in it, and that made me happy. What's his actual character?
No, I'm
not gonna fucking see it, so just tell me.
Basically, it's just a really big fucking dwarf.
How can you be a big dwarf? That's a giant.
Thor just called him a dwarf, and they go to this planet for him to forge a new hammer.
I'm assuming it's just like their race.
And this dwarf just turns out to be Peter Dinklage, who's like
who can make
towering over Thor, and it's just really funny. There's also a post-credit scene.
There's always a post-fucking credit scene.
It's at the very, very end. It's just set up. It's more set up, like all post-credit scenes are. Just set up for the next step. My favourite thing about the whole movie was Thanos.
Who plays Thanos?
Josh Brolin. Fantastic job, amazing job. Probably the best on-screen performance that he's ever done, even though he's a big purple dude. He looks like the Grimace on steroids.
Talk dirty to me.
Well, I'll tell you all about him.
Is this his Tinder profile?
Long walks.
Suck it to me.
Thanos is 420 friendly.
Is he?
Yes. His reasons for what he's doing are completely different from the whole motive of I'm pissed off at the universe because reasons, so here I am.
Yeah, what is your point? What is your motive to be taking over the world and squashing everyone?
Yeah, because sometimes with a bad guy, you're like, I can see where you're coming from, but you're going about this completely incorrectly.
Yeah.
He truly believes that he is the good guy. He sees himself as the suffering, lonely martyr sort of person that, frankly, every single Marvel character in existence is. At least on screen, anyway. He's also accepted the fact that no one likes him, and that he won't get rewarded or even be respected for it. He doesn't want to rule the universe or have any form of leadership whatsoever, which in itself is quite terrifying. Because he was asked during the movie what happens after you've done wiping out half of the universe, and he was just like, I will sit on a hill and watch the sunrise. And that was it. He was like, once I've wiped out half of the universe, he's retired, he's done. Which is unlike any usual superhero movie
normally
villain.
it's like, I'll move on to the next one and fuck them up too. And then I'll conquer all of the planets and all of the things. And that'd be mine. Like, they're getting... It's like they go around licking stuff to claim property.
The interaction between him and the other Avengers is amazing, especially a scene that he shares with Doctor Strange. And there's a very good humble moment between him and Tony Stark.
I'd like to get me a humble moment with Doctor Strange. It's what I call my dildo.
And probably this podcast. He isn't one of those disposable bad guys like fucking Steppenwolf from the Justice League.
Haven't seen it.
Of course you haven't. For starters, he is alive at the end of the movie.
Spoiler.
Which I was actually... I was really relieved when that happened, because I said to someone, they'd already seen the movie, I was just like, I just don't want Thanos to be just dead at the end of the movie, because this has all really pretty much been built around him. Kind of like in the background, setting himself up, getting the Infinity Gauntlet. It was kind of like the lingering threat. Like, Thanos was the guy who sent Loki to New York in the first Avengers. So, you know, this was all done in his name, and now he's finally here.
He's the big bad boss.
Yeah, and I didn't want the big bad boss to get destroyed completely within 2.5 hours. I just didn't want them to do a Darth Maul, basically.
Yeah, Darth Maul was a brilliant Sith.
He is the protagonist in this movie. He has character development, depth, a story arc, he's emotionally versatile. Honestly, if you watch the movie, you'll find his character genuinely fascinating. I would love to see an origins film about him, because I'd actually get to look forward to an origins story film.
Yeah, true.
The Black Widow one's on the way, that will probably be interesting, but...
A Thanos
origin story.
I want to know what made him snap.
Yeah. Going back to the reason why you didn't see the film in the first place, you don't have to see any previous Avenger film to appreciate it. So you could have gone and seen it and had a bit of fun with it anyway. The individual films, like the origin stories of how they got to where they are now, that's where you get emotionally invested to where they are now. And that all joins together for the Infinity Wars, where you don't have any kind of like character development with any other members of the Avengers. It's just them showing off their skills, being a part, you know, questions of who would win in a fight between this guy and that guy are answered. They get to say their catchphrases, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. Like the build up to all of that, you know, the Captain America, First Avenger films, Iron Man 1, Thor 1, The Dark World, Doctor Strange. That's kind of like the push towards the goal, and Infinity Wars is the celebration of scoring. So it's basically like a Royal Rumble. You don't care who that wrestler is, that wrestler is, that wrestler is. You just want to see them.
You're just happy that they're there and they're doing
and they're kicking the shit out of each other and all that kind of stuff.
living their most authentic lives.
Seeing all the good bits.
Yeah.
The actual emotional investment, you know, and the character development and the story arc is focused purely on Thanos in this movie. Like, to go again, he is, as I said, the main character completely in this. When the credits rolled, it says, Thanos will return. It usually says that with Spider-Man will return, Thor will return, in their own movies. That immediately implies that Thanos is definitely the core of this whole movie, and it definitely reflects on screen. He's one of the best recent movie
Maybe
villains.
this is his origin story.
I really fucking hope not. Oh, and there's an epic scene between Thanos and the Red Skull, which almost blew my fucking mind. Spoiler alert. Super spoiler alert for that. Sorry, I said the super spoiler alert too late, but fuck it. I might edit it.
It's your own fault for listening to it.
I might edit it, I might not. It depends how generous
it's
I'm
your
feeling.
fault for listening in the first place.
Yeah, fuck you, listener. As if you have
Please
nothing better
return.
to do. Yeah. Please contribute to my Patreon that I don't have.
Set it up for me, please.
Moving on from Marvel, please.
Venom. Fucking Venom.
I'm looking forward.
I'm so excited about Venom. The fucking trailer, though, they've done the exact same thing that they did with Star Wars, and they've shown you too much. And I'm really annoyed about it. Because I think they should have literally shown the very first few scenes, and then that cut to the Venom logo.
Yeah.
It was like 4 seconds, Venom logo. That's all you're getting. Go see it, because it's Venom and it's going to be fucking cool. And that would have been enough.
I think literally Tom Hardy, from him going into it, as you said...
I think they shouldn't have revealed.
Yeah, I would have been really happy if they didn't show us Venom.
Yeah.
And upon seeing it, I don't like how the teeth are involved in him transforming into Venom.
Yeah,
I think they should have grown out of his gums. The teeth should have been like the last thing that showed up in the transformation.
There might be different ways.
The new Predator trailer dropped recently as well.
Oh, did it? Have not seen. I feel like they're doing too many of these now.
The plot has potential to evolve the Predator in cool, imaginative ways. The trailer is only like just under 2 minutes long, but we're only interested in the actual creature itself. So they're basically working on hybridization, where, you know, with the previous film, the one with Adrian Brody, in where they abduct a load of different species onto a planet and hunt them and see how they adapt to hunting, and if they kill one of the predators, they work out why they managed to be defeated and try and they're trying to enhance themselves by transforming the DNA from those creatures into them and trying to pick up some of their traits. Yeah. So we could see the Predator doing so much cool shit, depending how on the imagination of the people creating the movie take it. So there's that at least. Yeah. But other than that, it's just the Predator hunting down people.
Do they get like extra powers and shit? Like if there was a creature that I don't know, could shoot webs.
That's what I was thinking, like fireballs or something like that.
Or like spit poison or some shit. Could they then be able to spit acid?
Well, yeah, if they believe it benefits them, you know, into becoming better hunters, which is hilarious. They're so advanced technologically.
Imagine that, he puts it in, he goes, it dribbles out my anus and it burns right now. Oh my god, it is worse than a curry. The acid is dribbling out my anus right now. Can you take that DNA out of me right now? It's burning my anus.
Take that DNA.
Yeah,
take it back.
I would not wish that on my worst enemies. That was horrific.
Part exchange.
It would be interesting to see if they have characteristics from the Alien, because the Aliens defeated a few of them. Yeah. No, I don't think it's going to be cosmetic differences.
It would be the acid blood, wouldn't it? That's the benefit of the Alien. I think so fucking helpful.
It's out in September, I think.
September. When's the next Game of Thrones? I feel like we've been waiting ages.
The 8th and final season begins in 2019 and ends that year.
We've got a year to wait.
Yeah.
That shit.
But don't you worry, after Game of Thrones is gone, the void for medieval fantasy will be filled with the Witcher TV series that Netflix is working on.
I'm looking forward to that.
Script writing started on May the 8th, so just a few days ago. Picked up a couple of Marvel writers. Jenny Klein, who contributed to Jessica Jones, is on board with the Witcher TV series. And Sneha Korst from Daredevil and Constantine is also involved. Yeah, it looked like a pretty cool writer's desk. There was champagne and a fridge full of alcohol and stuff involved, saying it's day one writing.
I am confident
it's going to be a laugh.
That'll be alright.
You looking forward to it? Obviously the most knowledgeable Witcher guy here.
I won't go that far.
You know more than me and Claire, again, like Rick and Morty.
I know the name of the programme and that I will be putting it in my watch list. That is literally all of the knowledge I have.
I've watched Scott play occasionally. I reckon
I'm looking forward to it. I'm just hoping they don't fuck it up.
It could be kind of related to Game of Thrones, because I reckon Emilia Clarke would make a really good Ciri. There's actually pictures of her in the Ciri outfit, and it's actually really good.
Emilia Clarke is as fuck. She's in my 5.
Oh really?
Easily.
Earliest premiere apparently will be in 2020.
2 years away.
Just after Game of Thrones finishes.
Oh, well there we go. Perfect timing. Because you can't really compete with Game of Thrones.
No.
But those people will be looking for something to fill the void.
They have a choice. Void. They have a choice of the Witcher series, and this is old news: the Lord of the Rings TV series, which will be coming to Amazon again in 2020, maybe.
Right.
Don't be too concerned. It's not going to be like a TV series version of the Lord of the Rings film trilogy. It hasn't been revealed where it's going to be set, but we do know it's going to be set before that time period. Thank God.
Okay.
The Tolkien Estate, HarperCollins and New Line Cinema beat Netflix to get the rights to make this thing.
It's only right that it's in the hands of New Line, though.
Guess how much it cost them to buy the rights to do it. Not anything to do with pre-production.
Just the rights.
No expenses in that department yet. Just to get the thumbs up, right, you have permission to do it. Guess how much it cost.
How many millions?
Guess how many millions of dollars.
It's going to be something absurd, like 30 million or something.
Okay. We have 30 million.
100 million.
100 million. Well, Scott is the closest, but quite far off.
600? I was thinking
it's not that
originally.
much. $250 million for a thumbs up.
250, $250 million.
Or £184.5 million, to give you some perspective there.
Wow.
The whole thing, they've had a 5-season deal here. The whole thing will cost roughly $1 billion to make.
$1 billion?
Yeah.
How many times over could that solve, like, so many problems across the world?
Well, five seasons worth of problems.
5 seasons worth. That's an absurd amount of money.
Part of the agreement is it has to be in production within 2 years.
So they can't fart around with it.
No, this can't be something that's drawn out. Clearly,
What happens if they don't have something to show in that time? Or if they do something poorly?
I have no idea. It will probably go back on the market or something, or Netflix will gobble it up. Who knows? Which they might not now they're doing this Witcher thing. Maybe they think that might be enough. But it'll be interesting to see where all the Game of Thrones fans are going to lean to.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch both, so it's...
I'm going to watch both. I don't see why not.
Peter Jackson was recently approached to get involved in this. Know his statement of
I'm guessing he's saying no, I'm guessing.
Did he turn it down?
He's been approached and I'm guessing he's considering it, but...
We don't know yet.
He's making a war film at the minute, but then again, he's got time, clearly, because that's going to be released soon, and production starts within 2 years. Or he might be fed up of it. Who knows? It'll be interesting. I think he'll do something.
It might be quite nice to see other people interpret it. Like if they had a different director for each season.
There's 5 seasons. Peter Jackson will probably direct a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Or, executive producer.
Just
or
guessed it, yeah.
just get involved. But either way, I'm going to watch both. I'm anxious about the Lord of the Rings one.
Yeah, I'm worried that's going to be shit.
Well, at least we know where all that grand tour profit's going to.
Well, that's true, yeah. Can't believe Jeremy Clarkson is hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Have you seen him on it?
Yeah.
How is he? I haven't seen it at all.
Oh, he's alright. You can tell he's out of his comfort zone a bit, but he'll soon get into the swing of it, you can see it. He keeps having to take his glasses on and off to read the cards, it's quite cute.
Why doesn't he just leave them on?
I don't know. Probably because he can't see close up.
Why doesn't he just get bigger cards?
I'll ask him when I see him next.
I'm being facetious.
Next time at the water cooler and we're having a general chat,
Yeah.
I'll mention it to
Me
him.
and Jeremy, like we'd ever be friends.
I think you'd get on alright.
Do you reckon?
I think so as well.
I don't know, I reckon, I think he'd be alright for a bit, but he'd start to become a bit of a dick.
If I had to spend a day with one of them, it would probably be Hammond.
Yeah, because he'd be quite happy to get pissed.
Right, obviously there's no questions because we had no idea we'd be recording this until this morning.
I got told in the car. Thank you for listening, everybody. Be kind to your mothers.
Okay, we have a confession to make.
We forgot about Dickhead of the Week, and we're very sorry. But we're here, we're back.
We're caravan fucked.
Yeah, it was 3 in the morning when we were finished recording. We were caravan fucked, so...
And we're back a day and a half later when we remembered that we needed to do it.
But we remembered.
This is definitely the most sober I've ever been recording one of our podcasts. This isn't another podcast.
Already.
Yeah, I am pretty fucked as well.
20 to 11. It's a Sunday.
A little bit more.
Day of rest.
Okay, so I'm just going to go straight into it.
Yeah.
For the final quarter of 2017, I was getting emails from One-on-One Internet, who are my main providers for my website. It was saying that my domain will automatically renew on the 8th of December. I appreciated the heads up because there is no way in fuck I'd want to keep using them because, my god, One-on-One isn't user-friendly at all. Just embedding a video required an unnecessary amount of coding. I literally felt like I was entering people into the Matrix. So I cancelled that motherfucker straight away. They replied and told me that everything launching comes to an end on the 7th of December, which at this point was about a month and a bit away. So during that time I found a much more user-friendly domain provider, put the site together, so when the 7th came around, all I'd have to do was press publish, making the whole thing seamless, and the website would just basically look like it's had a huge drastic makeover. You know, it was
yeah, that sounds like it would absolutely happen. Seamlessly. No one would even notice.
It'd have been the same link and everything. It would have been perfect. Anyway, the day finally arrived.
Did he really believe that it was going to work?
I did at one point, to be honest. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, bless.
I was so naive.
That's precious.
Spoiler alert, it didn't, which is why they're in the Dickhead of the Week section.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do the thing.
No, that's what we're here for now.
No, we didn't do the theme tune.
We did
The theme tune, it's just us saying Dickhead of the Week in unison.
Oh, I quite like it.
Hang
when
on,
we do
I
that.
swear we said Dickhead.
Well, can we say it now and just carry on?
Yeah, okay, fine.
Dickhead
of the Week.
Sorry, continue.
Right. The day finally arrived. I tried to purchase the domain www.barelybreathingreviews.com, and of course it's not available. Yet the old website was down, so the domain name's basically in limbo. Okay, so after a relatively passive email informing them about this, I was told that the domain name...
Relatively passive.
It was relatively passive, even
I feel
Scott
like
said so.
that is going to be a key part of the courtroom evidence when this is put to trial.
It was alright.
See, Scott's a calm person, he said it was alright.
And that's when the jury fell.
Anyway, they replied and basically said the domain name would be available to purchase 35 days after cancelling the contract. So the launching of the new site had been moved from the 7th of December to the 11th of January. Whatever, could have at least let me had first dibs on it, or even told me this was going to happen much sooner. You know, they did not inform me that this was going to happen at all. Skip to the 11th of January and it's still not fucking available to purchase. Several days and unanswered emails later, I decided to ring them, and the twat on the other end of the phone basically said that it was available and I wasn't doing it correctly, which was just a lie. Even Scott checked it.
If Scott checked it, it must be true.
He basically just said, just keep checking it, it'll eventually come up. And I was just like, well, it's been days, so something's clearly wrong. And as I was talking to him, I was, pressing refresh, then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it became available. How miraculous.
I'm sure it was complete coincidence.
In other words, they didn't release it, practically accused me of being an idiot, and during our conversation realised this, made it available, and was all smarmy and smug and a twat about it, even though it was their fuck up.
That's actually quite...
Yeah, so Dickhead of the Week is the tech guys.
Just one-on-one internet overall.
Because you had to deal with a problem. Oh my god.
I dealt with it
Can I do
swimmingly.
Dickhead of the Week next time? I've got so
Is it
many
gonna be
things
me?
that happen to me.
Well, it's
Dickhead of the Week, that bitch at McDonald's that didn't give me extra ketchup.
Well, it affects me directly, unlike Nintendo's suing that kid for having that fucking Pokemon-themed party.
That was a dick move.
Yeah, this is close.
It
you
hurts
know?
your feelings.
Yeah, this podcast is launched on the website, you know?
Oh no.
It's all of your guys' livelihoods here.
All of... who?
This is YouTube's leading film and entertainment-based podcast.
I disagree.
So does YouTube.
Respectfully.
So yeah, basically they're Dickhead of the Week because I didn't end up getting my domain name on time, ended up finally having it in my hands a month and a half after they said they would originally release it, and I am hurt. Deeply, deeply cut. Now, obviously, to me, this goes in the Konami section because it was a thing that... and I knew you guys were going to say that, so I'm willing to...
I was there as well.
You were only about 5% involved.
Really?
Yeah.
Scott, I'm going to call them. Come in. Have a drink first.
Okay. Wow. Okay, fine, 9%. I'm not putting you in double figures for involvement. Fuck that.
It sounds like Scott did the lion's share of this work.
Actually, he did most of it.
Look how validated he looks. He looks so happy.
Scott was my cheerleader. I'll push you up to 9.5% for that. That's the maximum you can get. So well done. You've done well.
But no, there's like a few bits, but no, the guy was actually generally rude, and it did seem a bit odd because we did literally the same process, what we did before, and it did actually just become available. Which did seem a bit odd throwing it. I think if he just said it was just stuck.
Yeah,
apologies.
if he would have said, our mistake, we're really sorry, we fucked up, now it's available, I wouldn't even be talking about this now. It would have been some director for delaying the release of something I want to see or whatever. And that would have been that. A couple of days later, they emailed me asking for feedback on everything. The phone call, their services, I haven't
Send him a picture of his dick.
Yeah, send him a dick pic, that's all.
With crabs.
It was such an
You could
awful
use that
service anyway. You had to like do coding to just embed a video, which is so unnecessary considering you can just drag and drop on most normal domain provider services. So, my mistake. Okay, yeah, to me this is Konami, but I knew you guys would be completely against that, so I'm willing to negotiate a middle to top ranks. I refuse to put this in the bottom half.
Alright,
I
yeah.
definitely refuse
How
to
about
put it in the
Super
bottom half.
Erect Dick then?
I'm up for that one.
Okay, that's fine. I'll agree with that because I can't be bothered to argue or remember the other categories.
Perfect.
Much like the phone call.
Right, so one-on-one internet, you are officially inducted into the Super Erect Dick section of Dickhead of the Week.
Repent, and thou shalt be saved.